How you doing, everybody? Welcome to Crossways. Steph, say what to the people.
Yeah, I thought we'd see if you'd missed us, really.
Because people were saying, where was Crossways? And, because, it was me, really, my ego. I said, Steph, let's not do one and see if they miss it.
Yeah.
But
Hopefully
no, we had a couple of things on and we couldn't do that one. So we're back now. Welcome to Crossways.
Yeah, been a busy week, hasn't it?
How you been
really?
doing? What have you been doing? You been cool?
Went to the game yesterday, which was good. Man City, Liverpool, Man United and Spurs.
Yes.
What about you? Been doing England games?
Yeah, I've done the England game, which was, you know what it's like, the England game. But I'm quite pleased I don't have to speak about it because it's a women's podcast. So I don't have to deal with them lot. But I was very much all over the Arsenal-Chelsea game.
That's the biggest game this weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll probably start with that one. It was a game where I was expecting a lot more from it, especially from Arsenal in the way they've been playing, because they have been pretty poor. But again, even with Chelsea, I thought Chelsea still haven't hit nowhere near their form yet. I still think they're with the, what we call it, Sonia ball. I don't think it's happening yet, but they're winning.
Yeah, I think that's the difference,
You know
isn't
what I mean? They're winning.
I expected big things from this game, actually, just because it's at the Emirates. Obviously, Arsenal's Champions League result.
Yeah.
And obviously the result against Everton. Obviously, there's a lot of pressure and there's a lot of noise around Arsenal at the moment. And I actually thought, right, okay, like they're going to step up and do something special against Chelsea, being at home, being in front of the home fans. But I don't know, maybe, it's your club. And
No, Steph. The thing is, Steph, at the moment, I don't think I said it in one of our shows, I think the first one, about, our mid-table kind of like energy they give us. I got that again. I'm getting that with our team. You know what I see from our team? There's not a lot of pace and speed, whether it's the way how fast we're passing the ball, whether it's people running. If you haven't got Caitlin Ford or Stina Blackstenius, there's no energy, there's no pace, there's no speed in the team, and that for me is a massive, massive worry.
Yeah, because I think every other club is like bringing that to their squad, and with Chelsea especially, you've got Ramirez, who was brilliant on Saturday. I think in terms of someone that kind of just manhandled the defence.
Honestly, you know something, Steph, we need to just kind of like rewind and just go into a little bit of Mayra Ramirez. I remember when I saw her in the World Cup for Colombia, and pace, and remember her against Man United last season, but her pace, hold-up play, everything was, Leah was bouncing off of her. She's like ragdolled her.
Yeah.
It was like the way, anytime the ball went up there to her, no one could deal with her. And it's not like Chelsea are playing unbelievable football. I think, like I say, they're still trying to feel their way, but she was a massive
I thought
difference.
they were really effective, though, because in the first 20 minutes, like Chelsea would just kept on playing that direct ball over the top for her.
Why not?
And then people were travelling with her to try and get numbers around the ball because they knew she was going to hold up and she knew she was going to get the ball first. And like, this is for me when I look at Arsenal and I look at a few of the teams as well, I'm like, you have tactics and you have a plan. I don't know what that plan is for Arsenal at this moment in time, but I'm like, as players, you have scope to be adaptable, and I feel as though at this moment in time Arsenal aren't being adaptable enough to what's being given in front of them. Like, you want to hold a high line, which is fine and it's good, but if you don't get pressure on the ball, you can't hold that high line. And Arsenal were one or two steps away from Chelsea, and Chelsea was not the greatest performance.
No.
And I think of Caitlin Ford, like, her goal just comes from her sheer determination, to be honest.
I wanted to talk about, with Arsenal, normally the defence is okay, but I feel like right now, with the defence is normally steady and they do a good job. But like, looking at the defence, the midfield, like I say, lacking legs and pace, and then up front, there's no bite. It's a massive worry.
They're really lacking confidence.
Can I tell you who I look at? I think we're not, in the situation she's in now, and the way we're playing, Kim Little is suffering in this team. Does he play a little deep so she can get on the ball a bit more so she can actually get things going? Or I don't know if Kim's just out of form, but at the moment we're not getting nothing defensively or offensively.
It feels like three different units, which it is, but like, say once the midfield gets it, the forwards don't really know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And then when the forwards get it, there's nobody running in from midfield. And then the defensive unit, it just seems really disjointed. And I don't know whether, like, I was thinking about it last night in terms of what maybe the problems are. And look, there's no doubt there's some unbelievable players in the Arsenal squad. I think you look at Cal Dente, she's a massive signing, but to play her in midfield when she's a winger or a forward, it just blows my mind. That feels though we're scrambling, whereas you've got midfielders in there that can dictate the player. And like, could you tell me what Arsenal's strongest 11 is right now?
No.
Then
no, I couldn't.
That is a problem in itself. Like, any manager or any team know what the strongest 11 is, and I feel as though he's trying to find that blend of like what he wants, and to change it from game to game, you're not going to get any rhythm.
You know, I was going to say with like someone like Kafaji, we saw her in pre-season. She looks like somebody that in that area, in that last third, you know, she can create something, and she's not getting on. I'm seeing her and Cool like warming up.
Yeah.
For 90 minutes. What's going on? Why isn't he playing? Because we needed something else. When you look at the way we're playing with Leslie, a load of endeavour, you know, not enough, obviously, balls in the box for her to maybe get onto them and score, or for her to get herself in a situation where she can manufacture a shot for herself. She seems like she really is lost in respects of goal scoring right now and getting chances. And then you're hoping that if she does get them, she's not going to be anxious. But again, there's a lot of people coming towards the ball. Caitlin Ford, obviously, she scores a goal that I believe that she shouldn't be scoring from that angle. We can maybe talk about, we'll talk about Ramirez's first goal and Van Domsela, but apart from Caitlin and the pace that she was showing down that side, I'm watching the game thinking, how are we going to break down the Chelsea side that themselves are trying to find ways, because their link up to their forwards it's not great.
No.
Obviously, they went direct to Mayra Ramirez a few times, but again, Chelsea are not playing well, but they're winning. The problem I have is if they are going through a change because of Sonia and what Sonia's trying to do with them, if they get that right, they're going to be unstoppable, especially with Sam Kerr to come back as well.
Yeah, I think you can see that they're working towards something like what you said in terms of it's not going to be at the peak right yet, because you've got players that are having to do different jobs. You see Lauren James working so hard off the ball, and that free role isn't as free as probably she was under Emma Hayes, but I think you can see there's a certain pattern and there's a certain technical element of Chelsea's game that I'm just wanting Arsenal to do so well because of the players that they have. And it just, I don't know whether there's a lot of noise around Arsenal and whether players are taking that on board and really reading into that.
Like, they don't look like they're enjoying it.
You've got to be able to play free, and like I think that's knowing your job individually, but also being able to work as a collective. And I think it's just the basics like are missing. You look at the goals, and I look at the second goal, and I'm like, Emily Fox is running across Lee Williamson's zone with a player, which leaves Baltimore free. Beth Mead's not tracking back. Yeah.
We'll go to the second goal in a sec, though, Steph. But if we just quickly talk about the first goal, because you as a centre half, who you're probably going to put your head into certain places, especially in the box there, Steph. So, firstly, after bigging up Daphne a couple of weeks ago and how well she's done to get herself in the side, Van Domsela, I don't think that goal should have. There's no way that goal, the way that looped in, should be going in.
It's in the air too long.
It's far too in the, and it's looped, and I can see her. She's kind of like when it's going away from Ramirez, she's maybe trying to set herself because she's not expecting the shot. But she takes a little step to the right. Where if you watch it, everyone. But still, the way that ball's looped, you're supposed to shuffle your feet quick enough. Because it's not like it's gone into the top corner; it's looped in the goal.
Yeah, and you want your keeper just to come out and do something, don't you?
And where it was as well, Steph, in respects of where she's looped it from. If you look at Beth Mead and Beth Mead's challenge in that scenario, she's turned her back on it.
But Ian, from the corner coming in, like, you have to clear that ball. Yeah. Just you've got to put your head and you've just got to get any body part on this ball and don't let it bounce. And there was probably 2 bounces in the goal, and I'm like, this is like the basic stuff where you shouldn't be giving away goals from corners, because I think Arsenal give away a goal in midweek, and crosses and corners have been is a big question in women's football at this moment in time. I look at the top teams and I'm like, everything seems to be coming from a cross.
They're not defending across as well.
Yeah, like you need to, first of all, your full backs and your wingers need to be good 1v1 defending to stop the cross coming in for one. Second of all, your defenders and your midfielders need to come in and you need to track and you need to get first contacts on the ball. It's so disappointing because we're making players look better because of the poor defending.
And you mentioned that the second goal, again, whatever we say, about how many players Arsenal had in the box. At the same time, I don't know what's happening with the leadership, like you mentioned there. People should be knowing what's going on. And when you look at it, I think we've got 7-8 players in the box.
Yeah.
And the whole back post is totally free. She's not engaged.
That's one thing I have noticed.
What they doing in training?
Attracted to the ball. There's just no awareness of where other people are. Like sometimes you just have to be in your space, and whoever comes into your space, you take. You can't just go player for player all over the pitch. It doesn't work like that. Teams who do that, Liverpool tried to do that to Man City yesterday, and they got absolutely destroyed in the last 15 minutes because they tried to go so aggressive, and you leave someone like Bunny 1v1. It's just impossible.
We'll speak about it in a sec. I don't know if
But Ian, come on, like, what is the problem? What do you do if you're Arsenal now?
Well, you know something? When you look at how disorganised we look, how much we lack pace, you know, we need, for a start, like I mentioned, we need to get pace in the team. We need to get energy in the midfield. We need to score goals. Like even the chance what came across was Stina. I'm sorry that from there, you know, it's a great cross in.
Yeah.
Arsenal in the ascendancy. And you need to score that goal to get the momentum, because at that time as well, Chelsea, like I say, weren't playing great. But I'm still impressed with Chelsea because I still feel there's a lot to come. You have to score in that moment. Those chances have to be taken, because then that gives, as you will know, that will give confidence to a team.
Yeah.
That will give confidence to a team. That gets you going a little bit, might give it a little bit more energy in the side. It doesn't seem to be happening. I don't like the way we build up. It seems very easy to engage people and close people down and win the ball back off of them. And so I don't know when you say what we need to do in respects of getting ourselves going, but the leadership, it's got to be something to do with the leadership crew. Maybe they need a meeting. Maybe they need a meeting, maybe get the manager out of the meeting, and then after they have the meeting, then get the manager in and let him know, listen, we need to be doing this or we have to do that. Because at the moment, we're six.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking about a team that should be, challenging to try and win.
Where you were like, okay, this could be Arsenal's year with the players that they've brought in and the squad that they've already got. It's like, okay, like we're both waiting, going, what's next for Arsenal?
I'd say even City's first half against Liverpool, you wouldn't say like, oh, it was magnificent. Obviously, they got Bunny Shaw. Like Chelsea, there's teams that have started that they're not really hit their form yet, but they're winning. At least they're winning.
Yeah.
Arsenal at the moment, it feels very laboured. I feel for them.
Yeah, I think when you're in them positions where you're not playing well, it's just about finding a way to win, and sometimes it looks ugly, which was City's win yesterday. But yeah, I mean,
players can't get players on the pitch.
No.
You know what I mean? I don't know what cool Kafaji have to do, because what I saw of Kafaji in the pre-season in respects of a 20-minute maybe cameo, I think for 20 minutes in that game, especially in the second half, once Ramirez went off, once they didn't have that focal point and Arsenal put that pressure on when we got the chances, I thought that would have been a good time to have somebody who could come on, who can, who can dribble, who can create and do something. But I don't know. I think the manager's under immense pressure. We're seeing all sorts of things happening at the moment. But, and just quickly, in respects of Beth and what's going on with what she said, what I've heard in respects of the fans and all that stuff, I'm not going to go into it, Steph, but what I would do is I would come off of all that social media stuff, because I don't know what the benefit is of seeing people or reading about people saying, oh, you're great, oh, you're not. You need to come off of that stuff.
Yeah, I think I've seen stuff and I don't proactively go and look, but I'm like, I was thinking, oh my God, if I'd read that about me, then I'd be like, how would you even go into a game feeling any confident than you are now?
So, Steph, you was at the Liverpool-Man City game.
Yeah, at Anfield.
Right.
Oh, God, honestly, that last 10 minutes was...
was it?
You know, when you're
brilliant.
doing the punditry as well, you try and stay a bit partial, don't you? But honestly...
Did you celebrate a bit?
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know whether they got it on cameras.
That's very biased.
I know, sorry guys, but I've been there 10 years, so it's hard to do it. But
like me telling you it's biased to celebrate is kind of like,
Yeah, but to be honest, I was impressed with Liverpool. I think their plan was really well thought out.
Can I just say with them, when you see them coming out the tunnel, they look so small.
I know.
But they're so quick and so sharp, aren't they?
Yeah,
they really stopped the City in the first half.
Like so compact, and like just the plan worked. And I mean, Matt Beard wasn't there yesterday, but I feel as though he really got his plan spot on.
Yeah,
and,
I like him.
But City weren't at the levels that they were at against Barcelona, and that's probably a little bit understandable that literally it's like 3 days after and you're playing again, and it takes a lot out of you as a player when you play at a game against the Champions League holders. But yeah, I was disappointed a little bit in City's performance in the sense of I just don't really feel as though they grabbed hold of the game. There was no intensity in the first half, and you've got a bench there that can come on and impact, and that wasn't utilised enough for me to make changes. But I mean, Bunny Shaw, when she's starting to pick up form now, isn't she? So
yes, yeah, but she was very good. Lauren Hemp as well.
You know what? I think
really
Bunny got player of the match, but I think for me, Hempel was the one that was really driving City forward, and she's really starting to come into form. But ultimately, I think it's kind of like what we spoke about with Chelsea. It's like I don't feel as though they're at their peak yet.
No, I don't think they're at their peak yet. But I thought, like I say, I thought Lauren Hemp done very well. I think Bunny Shaw is going to cause anyone problems if she's getting that kind of service. But can we just say that again, you know, Liverpool, the way they went forward. What I loved about Smith and the way she attacked is the ball. When the ball bounced, she really went for it. You see, like you're talking about putting your head in.
Yeah.
She looked like she could have got really hurt. And I think she did get hurt. I don't know what she done. What did she do to herself after that?
I don't know whether it was on the fall or whatever, but literally you could just see Liverpool's game plan was to hit Olivia Smith. Like she just started to come into it, and she started right wing and she came onto the left wing. And she just was able to just drive into the space that City had left, and defenders are backing off. And it's a good strike, but Yamashita steps the wrong way, and you've got to save it from 30 yards out.
I think from there it's the kind of strike that, you know, she should have easily.
But it was a well-deserved goal. Liverpool were on top then. I think City didn't really make Rachel Laws make any saves in that first half. I think it was the lowest shots that City had in that whole game on target, and it was a shame that she had to go off at half-time, because I feel as though if she'd had stayed on a few more, it would have caused City a few more problems.
How do you think Jill Roord done?
You know what? I was really surprised to see her play 90 minutes. I'm made up that she has played 90 minutes because that is such a big step in the journey that she's been on, come back from her ACL. And for me, this is what I'm thinking. Yeah, she played 90 minutes, which is good, but then obviously that's probably a bit risky in the sense of... And you could just tell she's coming back. And I think you've got to have perspective on the whole situation. That's someone that's been out for 8-9 months, and you're playing against a good Liverpool side, and she didn't really have as much influences on the game as we're used to seeing her, but she's not going to, because she's getting back her legs back, she's probably getting an awareness back and just getting used to things, which goes back to my point in terms of you've got players on the bench that can come on and really impact.
What's happening with Chloe Kelly? What's going on?
I don't really know, and I mean everybody knows that she's one of my closest friends, and for me to see the way that she is, and I know that she's got her head down, she's training really hard and she's doing what's best for the team, but that game was crying out for someone like Chloe to come on and impact and provide Bunny with crosses from the right-hand side, and just to put like a little bit of fear into Liverpool and to make it not as easy. And
what's going to happen with her, Steph? Because was she in her last year? Is her last year?
Yeah, she's in her last year of her contract, so... For me, I don't really know. I think this is such a hard position to be in as a player when you're not playing and you feel as though you can come on and impact, and you've obviously got the Euros coming up for England, which I know that she'd be desperate to be involved in, and rightly so, because she is the future of England in the next few years. But I think with the fixtures that Manchester City have, you have to utilise that bench. There's just no way now if Miedemar's fit and not fit for the Champions League game and for Villa. Jill Roord's potentially not going to play this next game because she's played 90 minutes. Who do you then bring into that midfield that's probably not had any minutes or not up to match sharpness? So
why wouldn't you be using someone like Chloe, especially somebody who's she's a big game player. She does her stuff in the big games. She plays. What's going on with her and the manager? Is there stuff going on behind the scenes? What's going on? Am I asking questions I shouldn't?
I actually don't know. I mean, it's not for me to say on here in terms of the relationship I have with Chloe, but I think it just looks as though she's third choice. She's down the pecking order at this moment in time, which for me, I don't think it's a real true reflection of what Chloe Kelly has done for the club for the last 4 years. I think she obviously had that knee injury in between, but she's came back even even fitter and stronger, and she knows the system inside and out. And
Euros in the summer as well. You mentioned that.
like,
Euros in the summer, Stefan.
She always comes on and does a job, and like I loved playing with Chloe down that right hand side because you know what you're going to get from her, which is hard work with and without the ball, and she makes things happen.
Can I say though, as much as Chloe Kelly, I'd love to see Chloe Kelly playing. Mary Fowler, at the minute, especially when I watched her against Barcelona, and how well she's playing, she does a really good job on there. Mm-hmm. Can Chloe play as a 10?
I think there's potential there, but Mary Fowler can play as a 10. Her position for Australia is normally in that midfield area, and like her ability with both feet and being able to turn and run at defenders, especially in Champions League game, you need someone special in that midfield area, which is why Jill Rod and Mayra in there. And like Chloe's a different type of winger to Mary, in terms of she likes to get her crosses in. She likes to, you don't have to necessarily beat the player. It's putting balls in the box for someone like Bunny Shaw to get on the end of, and that's where she's so productive. So it's such a tough one at the moment. But there's a number of players. You look at Alana Kennedy, she's not coming on the pitch. You've got Laura Coombs, you've got Laura Blinkard-Brown, who had a great end to the season last year, and they're not getting any minutes whatsoever. So, but these next 6 games is going to be interesting.
Do you think it's like he's not playing because is he trying to stagger it for Champions League games? Is trying to make sure that he gets, because like has he had a word with her or something to let her know, listen, it's just time, I'm just working something out, you will get your time? Has she had any contact with him?
I don't think so, no.
He should be doing that with her. She deserves that as a England player.
It will be interesting because they've got Champions League the Wednesday, what that team looks like. And I think that's where I get a bit confused when managers say, I've got a really good squad, I've got to utilise my squad, I've got experience on the bench, and then they fail to use it. Whereas I feel as though with Arsenal, not to go back to Arsenal all the time, but he's probably used the squad too much, where you're not getting that consistency. So it's like find that balance of like when you bring players on and when you don't bring players in, when the game's going in your momentum. But something had to change yesterday. It was flat. And it was only Lauren Hemp that provided that intensity.
And obviously, like,
and you can't do that 90 minutes by yourself.
No. Jess Parker, I love watching Jess. She's always busy in there. She created a couple of things. But again, we have to say the pass. Who was the pass from for Bunny's?
Lai Alexandri.
Brilliant goal.
Yeah, Gemma Bonner went off and she was having a really good game. And when Niamh came on, and obviously Niamh I was with Arsenal with Niamh, and she's a really good 1v1 defender. But I feel as though that kind of changed the momentum a little bit. City started to get even more on top. Liverpool are dropping a little bit more, and when Bunny Shaw's in them 1v1 situations and you get so tight to her, she likes that. You
know something? Alexandri's pass was amazing. She didn't even need a touch, Bunny, but like it's the way when they showed an angle of it from behind where you could see where the defender just had. It
was going to be a penalty, whether it was a goal or not.
Honestly, she couldn't get nowhere near it.
Wrestling in the box.
She couldn't get nowhere near it. The strength to hold her off, and then the finish is again City. Like I'm saying, they're not playing unbelievably, but then when you've got strikers of that quality, just like Chelsea, you've got Ramirez, who's amazing, and you've got Bunny Shaw again, who's amazing. And we're going to speak about another striker later on in Elizabeth Turland, who's for me is very impressive. But like, I think in respects of City, there's a lot more to come. And if he is able to then use people like Chloe Kelly, get Chloe on the pitch, and then they can have their say, I think City are going to cause a massive problem.
You've got to be able to trust the players, like the programme and being there for that many years. Like, I understand what we do in training, and the training's harder than the games, and like players are ready and people understand what their roles are, and it's like you've got to be able to trust your players to go and do and finish the job. And there's a lot of experience there as well. The players have played for England in a World Cup, Australia for a World Cup. You've got to be able to kind of trust on them, and they've played against the best players. But I think you're right in the terms of City, you've got a lot more potential. I think Barcelona's like now where you look at that performance, I think that is the best of City that I've seen for the first 45 minutes. They were outstanding. Yes. And Barca didn't get a sniff.
No. The thing is, what Barca didn't realise that maybe for half an hour in their league, you know what I mean, what they done there would be enough. Yeah. Because I think goalkeeper made a great save.
Which shows the strength of our league, to be honest.
Exactly.
I think that they weren't ready for that intensity.
Because once they didn't score, and then, you know, with all their great players, you know, Pateas and Bonmati, everybody who's on there, once they didn't score and City kind of grew into the game, they played very, very well.
There was an interesting stat yesterday because I was thinking when City go behind in the first half, I was like, how often do they actually win?
Yeah.
And the stat was in 14 where they'd been 1-0 down at half time, they'd only won 2.
Wow.
Which I was like, right, okay, is this going to be a similar pattern? So when you say about not performing well but being able to get the job done,
yes,
that was certainly a case of that yesterday, which is a good sign of a good team.
Against the best. Man United Spurs, like I mentioned her earlier on, Elizabeth Turlin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Fizz always talking about strikers this one.
Well, it's not like, no, let's talk about strike, but I just tend to that, they kind of spring up more.
I loved that
like,
first finish.
Beautiful finish, wasn't it? Like the way she got in front. But what was good about her is she was somebody that I was seeing, like the move from Brighton to United. You know, like last season she scored like 50%. They scored 13 out of the 26 goals they scored. And she's a penalty box striker. And like you mentioned rightly, first goal was brilliantly taken.
So sweet, yeah.
Brilliantly taken. It was one of those that she got in there and you just saw, when you see it in slow motion, when you can see the strikers who know where they are, her leg got in front of the defender. It was it was a brilliant goal. She caught it clean and went in.
And I think that's why Man United are crossing a lot. Like Bizet, she came, we didn't think that she would play her, and she came on, she played right back, but she might as well have played right wing because they weren't tracking, Spurs weren't tracking.
Gosh,
and you know what, Spurs started really well the first 20 minutes and they had the shot, and Fallon, the keeper, she played really well for Man United and kept them in the game. But I think for me, like Turland, I don't think we've really spoke about her enough in terms of in that striker category, but she has potential to be really good this season if they keep providing them crosses that they did.
The way her movement for the first goal and then obviously the Bizet cross for the second goal, yes, you'd expect her to be in there scoring. Couldn't understand why she didn't take the penalty, but like maybe that's a different story.
Would you be fuming if you'd scored 2 and didn't have a penalty for the third?
I probably would. It's a different time though, because we're dealing in a time now, Steph, where they're not fussed for some reason.
Don't show your age on here, Ian.
No, I have to show my age, but like I'd probably have a sulk about why would you why wouldn't you give me that?
To be fair, we were thinking she's got to take this here. Yeah. Come on.
But like I do admire her, like the fact that no, I don't have to take a penalty to get it. But at the same time, you're about scoring. You know, scoring the goals, and I feel if Man United can continue to get the ball in and around her because she's in the box, something again I'd love to see. Going back to Arsenal, I'm not going to go back to Arsenal because I don't want to keep doing that, but I'd love to see Leslie taking up a focal point in there, so when the ball comes in, she can use that kind of ability where you have to get in front of the defender to get a header or a shot, or you're in the box when the cross is coming in so you can attack it, like what she does. I think that if they can continue to do that, I think she'll score a few goals this season. Yeah.
I was impressed with Man United. I don't think Spurs really tested them. It wasn't really the greatest of games in terms of intensity. I think Man United were probably only in second, third gear at times, but another clean sheet, which is really promising. I think as a unit they look really organised and they know their jobs.
She made a very good save at 0-0 as well, if you remember it earlier on. So United, 3 matches now, 3 clean sheets. She's getting her chance. Obviously Mary's gone now. I didn't think she got enough opportunities when she was there before. Mary played all the time, and obviously because Mary is who she is. But like seeing her come in and really, you know what I mean, she looks very good. That save when it was 0-0 was,
at 0-0,
was a
it's such a
save.
Critical save just because I think obviously then the game goes a different way and you're scrabbling to get back into the game. But I agree with what you're saying. I think limited chances last year, maybe Conti Cup. I think she played really well against Liverpool. I remember doing a really unbelievable world-class save against Liverpool in the Conti Cup, and you're thinking, oh, actually, I want to see her play more. And now she's been able to have that chance, and Man United's number 1. And I mean, 3 clean sheets, you've got to be happy with that.
I think when you look at United should be, for me, looking at Arsenal, seeing what Arsenal do, they're floundering. You know what I mean, for want of a better. They're floundering at a minute. They need to do some serious, deep thinking, some serious stuff for Arsenal. This is an opportunity for United, especially if Turlin can continue with her form, goalkeepers making great saves, you know what I mean? Even you're looking at someone like Grace Clinton. Grace Clinton, again, very good game.
You know, even like Dominic Janssen.
Yeah.
Like, I know that we spoke about at the beginning of the pod, and I just think United were desperate for experience, and she's come in and she's in the middle of the pitch and she's able to dictate and clean up when they're a bit messy, and like, I don't know, I just think we haven't probably spoke about them enough, and nobody is speaking about Manchester United.
So maybe they want that, Steph.
And sometimes when you're like that and people don't want to speak about you, or you kind of get a bit riled as a player to be like, right, okay, like I want people to be speaking about us, and they're just going about their business, which is,
You think United want the people to speak about them yet, or they just want to keep it?
You know what? I'm intrigued. Like when they play one of the top 3 sides, that's when we'll know what Man United we have, because I feel as though they played West Ham, they've played Everton, they've played Spurs, and you would be expecting Manchester United to win all 3, and they've done that. So that next big game, I think that'll be a real test of what we really think.
I think Spurs is a little bit of a worry. I think what's that now? 8 goals conceded.
Yeah,
in
1
4
point
games.
so far. So it's just or 4 points. So I think. I don't know. They missed big players yesterday, like Saheli, Rasso,
Nilden,
Oroz in midfield, which makes them tick, and that just shows that the strength in depth in their squad isn't what potentially it should be. And that'll be the difference this league, is if a few clubs pick up a few injuries and you aren't able to replace them with good quality, then it's hard to then get them points against the better teams.
I'm hoping, like we mentioned, City obviously didn't start well, which, you know what I mean, we won't mention Arsenal. Chelsea are still trying to find their Sonia ball. And then even United, beating team, they're beating them quite comfortably like they should. I do really hope that they can hit their form, so as I could see the real final form of them for this season, what they're going to end up like. Because if Chelsea get it right, I think that Chelsea are going to they probably do it again. City, I like the way City started, especially I think the Barcelona win was fantastic win for them, and then they followed it up with a last minute win at Liverpool. And I think United beating who they should be beating, but with, like I say, with Elizabeth Turland scoring. And that will only give you more confidence. Goalkeeper making good saves. I want to give you more confidence going forward. So I'm quite excited about how it's going at the minute.
Wow. Wrighty Lionesses squad this week for a big game against Germany at Wembley.
Always very exciting when the squad's been announced.
I know. I think we probably predict the majority of the squad, but is there anyone that we're thinking maybe sneak their way in?
You know who I'd like to see sneaking? Lazelle. Naomi?
You've pinched my one.
I did, because I heard you say earlier on. So can I just probably go with Annabelle
you
Blanchard? Can I say?
Okay, yeah.
You know something? You know what? I'm so pleased for her, because she was so good in the Championship. She's something. It's just like the men's game. The players that are outstanding in the Championship. You want to see. Yeah, well, we'll see what happens when they come to the WSL. She's come here and she's been brilliant in all the games I've seen. She's somebody that's done enough where you think, I can see the quality of her. Now, maybe it's a bit early, but like we're saying, it's a wild card pick. But the fact is that her quality and the way she plays, again, you want to get her. We've seen her come from the Championship, go to the next level, and so you want to see. You know what? Let me bring her into the squad just to have a look at her. You know what I mean? It's like
to be in and around that environment with top class players.
I'd probably have a look at her now. I'd probably have a look at her.
I think sometimes young players need to be given that opportunity, because actually it gives them a motivation to either want to stay there, or they just think I can't be at this level.
Can I mention somebody that I always thought maybe it was unfair for her never to get? Maybe it was Ashley Neville. I know she's 31 now, but I've seen her when she's playing in the Tottenham side, where she was literally propping them up on her. She's lifting them up on her shoulders and carrying them through games. You know what I mean? I would love for Ashley Neville to at some stage had a look at her to see what she's like with the next level of player.
Yeah, I feel as though I've heard that her name mentioned a lot about England squads, and she's never been given that opportunity.
Especially in a position where we're kind of a bit light, if Lucy's not there.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say Lazelle, who you said previously. Naomi Lazelle, I mean, to be honest, I was so surprised that she started against Barcelona for Manchester City, and predominantly she's at centre half and she's playing at right back, and
she done okay. She done well.
She did really well, I think, obviously to score the first goal, but also assist for the second. But more from a defensive point of view, you're playing against some of the best players in the world, and to be able to hold your own against them players, maybe a bit of a wild card, depending if she's not injured. Maybe she might get thrown in there. But like you said, Lucy Bronze is probably the only out and out right back for England. Is she able to come in?
Tizzy there as well.
Yeah, true.
Neve Charles could probably play there. I know that she plays on the left as well, but she could probably play there.
I think fullbacks for England my next player was going to be Gabby George. I think she got 90 minutes yesterday playing left back, really, and I think Gabby's qualities, and I know she'll not be on her best form so far, come back from her injury, but I think she's strong, she's quick, she's left-footed, she gives us a bit of balance going forward, and she can play centre-back and she can play left-back, so I would be delighted if she got a shot just to be kind of eased back in and just to be in and
She's
around
got
the
the
squad.
levels as well, because you know when you go up again to the national level, you think she'll be comfortable in there?
Yeah, I mean, I've been with Gabby for a few of the England squads, and she always came in and she's really bubbly and she fits in with the girls, but also she's able to cope with that pace, and she's able to express herself in the way that she should by driving forward, and she's got a lovely left foot as well, which I absolutely love.
You know, I was going to say to you, see about going up to that next level. I remember when I got into England, you realised it can be quite daunting.
Yeah.
You know, I was just thinking about Annabelle, like Blanchard and that. It can be quite daunting when you go in there. Can you remember when you got to when you was thinking to yourself, like, you came from, was it Leeds? Where'd you come from?
I went from Leeds to Arsenal, and the reason I wanted to go there was to win trophies, but most importantly was to go and play with the best players. And you're speaking about Kelly Smith, Rachel Yankee, Faye White, and you're around Jane Ludlow.
Was Emma Byrne in goal?
Emma Byrne. I mean, you don't want to do any mistakes when Emma Byrne's in goal. Oh my God! But like, you have to challenge yourself, and I think
What did you notice? Because I noticed the quickness and the you know, the basics were done so well and so quickly that you just felt like your head was like on. Like,
yeah, it takes you a while to get used to the pace of how players play and what they see. They're always like 2 or 3 steps ahead of what you are, and I think the way that we played football really suited me anyway. But at the same time, you've got great players that are able to give you advice, and you just have to not put too much pressure on yourself to be at that level straight away. But
you have to go in, because I remember with me, Steve McManaman was slaughtering me because I kept losing the ball in the 5-a-side.
Yeah.
And I noticed that when you do that, you don't get it back. When you do it at that level, you don't get it back, and you have to learn very quickly. It was Brian Robson who pulled me and said, "Don't take no notice of him," because he actually said, I think I've said it before, Steve McMahon actually said, "How players like that can get into the team like that? How can players like that get in the team?" So I was nervous as it was. So,
and it's another step up when you go international football. It's like ridiculous, and there's a lot more things to do around international football. So for these players, if they are given an opportunity, I think it is just about embracing it, but also like really be like open-minded to learn off the coaches, but also the players, because they've got the most experience. The likes of Lucy Bronze, I mean, just hang off every word and every action that she says, because she's done that for over 120 times for England.
Exactly. When I talk about like Annabelle, because we've got Grace Clinton who's coming, she's emerging. Obviously Ella's there, and Lauren James. But what I think is a good thing for someone like her is that, you know, it's happening very quickly. Mm-hmm. She's coming into the league, and she is taking it by storm. So I think for the first one, bam, just bring her in.
Yeah. And just be involved.
Just see what she's about.
No better place to go, like in your first game and first campus, to be against Germany at Wembley.
Wow,
which will be an unbelievable.
That'd be amazing.
Just the norm now. Playing at Wembley.
Yeah. Full house.
Yeah.
So while we're talking about the Lionesses, Steph, the one thing I'm really worried about is the goal scoring.
Yeah.
You know, when you look in the top 10 goal scorers, you know, we got Rachel Daly in there, but obviously Rachel's retired, and you know, Leslie is, you know, she's struggling for form in front of goal. What do you think? What do you think? What do we need to happen, Steph?
You know what? I just think put Lauren Hemp there. This is my opinion.
Down the middle.
I feel as though in a national game, I think her attributes, and I know she's out there on the left, but I think we are probably heavy on wingers for an England side. You
could push her inside, you think?
You got Lauren James that can play on that left wing.
Yeah.
Lauren Hemp has got the attributes to be able to do a bit of everything, and she's able to learn, and she's played there a few times now for England when Les has not been playing. But I think it is a worry, because you're so used to like an Ellen White who's scoring, and she's able to lead the line really well, and she's done so many good things for England that we haven't really found that kind of concoction of player to be able to kind of do that. So there's no other names I'm thinking of that would
it's a bit of a
come
worry.
in.
Well, do you think Sarina will bring Chloe into the squad? Because she's obviously not playing, but like...
I really hope so. I think sometimes you need to back your players a little bit, and like it's not just about
confidence boost as well.
These last 3 weeks, this is about someone that's really provided for England over a lot of years and done what she's needed to do. And I think that goes for a lot of players, like Beth Mead. I think about that. I think Beth's struggling at the moment, but sometimes you need to put an arm around someone and you need to kind of fill them with confidence in another way when it's maybe not going well for club. But look, I know that the competition's high and you have to push players to the very maximum to get the best out of them. And I'm excited to see what the squad's going to be, because these last 3 weeks in the WSL has been really interesting.
Yeah, onwards and upwards with it, Come on, England.
Come on, England. Finally, before we
shoot off,
just with my northeast roots and a big Sunderland fan, just to say how unbelievable the derby was yesterday.
Yes, the championship, yes.
Stadium alight. Attendance, can I read out this figure?
Go on then.
15,387.
That's magnificent.
Sunderland v Newcastle. Even though it was a Newcastle win, which was 2-1. But big shout out to Demi Stokes.
Yes.
Buzzing for her.
So you know she's my granddaughter's favourite player.
Oh, is she? Yeah.
She's right. Yeah, she's favourite player.
Rightly so. As well.
That's fantastic. Obviously, what you want is for those teams to develop. I know the championship is very tough, and that, you know what I mean. We obviously will need the quality to raise up in the championship, but getting those kind of attendances, obviously you're going to get that for Sunderland and Newcastle, massive derby. But ideally, you want at some stage we want those clubs in the WSL.
Yeah, I think that is the aim.
We really want them to be.
They're big clubs, and rightly so. They should be near the top.
Absolutely. Especially with the amount of players that region has produced.
Yeah, I think that's for me. I think from a personal point of view, like the way, like I grew up with Sunderland, played a lot of years there, and learnt my trade there, and the club has been so up and down, and now I feel as though right, okay, like we can provide players and we can get them back into the top flight. And like what you said, I think the WSL should expand, and it should have clubs like Sunderland and Newcastle in, without a doubt.
Ideally. That's what we need ideally. And just to finish off, Jordan Nobbs.
Oh, I'm buzzing for her.
How great is that?
WSL all-time appearance
How many was
holder.
it?
194 appearances and 58 goals.
I was listening to a kind of voice note on her the other day, and I didn't realise she played for the England under-15s when she was 12.
Yeah, and honestly, and I can actually remember her playing for Sunderland, and when she got scouted for England, and
that's amazing.
Just plays the same as what she does now, box to box, just literally talking all the time, just trying to score goals. Yeah. And for me, I'm really made up for her. I mean, I used to live with her when we moved to Arsenal together, and we used to share a house, and good job she's a good footballer, because she didn't complete any of her degrees, that's for sure. But yeah, I think for me, to be able to do that with all the injuries that she's had, and
so like she missed out on so much.
Yeah, so it would have been scary to see the potential she had if she hadn't had them injuries, but I'm really happy that she's able to keep playing her football at Villa.
Yeah, well done to
Jordan.
That's brilliant, Jordan. Well done. So that's it for Crossways this week. We'll be back with you Friday next week, and we'll definitely be here, won't we, Steph? We're not going to leave them hanging.
Don't miss us too much. We're back.
Yeah, we're back, man. Me and Steffi. Boom.
Boom.